The following episode may contain inappropriate material. Listener discretion is advised.
Everybody, welcome to wait, hold on 1 second, really quick. I just got a message. Dear Jason, my dog and cat recently have started falling in love. Should I help pursue this relationship further, or should I try to separate them more? Any advice you can offer, please let me know. Sincerely, Jeff. Well, Jeff, I'm just kidding, everybody. Welcome to Mattalk. Grab your champagne. Let's sit down. Let's talk. If you don't get the intro, you will hear shortly, and then you will giggle. But John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you, man?
Doing fantastic, man. I used to love reading Dear Abby.
I never, for those that don't know, an advice column is going to be, I guess you could say, the central part to this episode. No, I never really, like, I might have read one or two here and there, but I never really read like those religiously. You did, though?
I used to read them. I was always a romantic, even when I was like 5, 6, learning how to read. I loved reading them.
I just don't know how many people, even back then in 1988, really thought that was like the way to go to figure out how to run your life was through some advice column. I don't know. Maybe I'm just cynical. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Maybe it wasn't the way to go because I've been divorced twice. So maybe all the advice I got during my childhood was not advice I should have followed. Abby, you did me wrong. You did me wrong, Abby.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead. Shall we get on into it, Jason?
I got one more thing I want to talk to you about. So I interviewed a lawyer yesterday. He's a lawyer who's become a filmmaker. And one of the questions I asked him, because not so much on Matlock, but every other law show I watch, the judges are all quirky. Like, they all have a quirk to them. So I asked him, I said, hey, is this normal? Do judges really have quirks when you go into the courtroom? And you know what he said? He said, yes, but it's not the norm. It's just more of a side thing where you'll get occasional judge that has a quirk, but they don't usually have quirks. And I get this from shows like The Practice, Boston Legal, The Good Wife, The Good Fight. They're always so quirky. And it's something that's been bothering me for a long time. Like, do judges really behave like that? Apparently, you get the occasional one that does. So
Wait a minute. You didn't ask the big question, like, hey, can you bring a horse into the courtroom, or can you pull that man that did the murder is going to walk through that door any moment now?
No, but I want to interview him again. Maybe have him on this show too. Do an episode of Matlock with us.
All right. Okay. Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on into our opening statements. The title of this episode is called The Lovelorn. It originally aired on February 23rd, 1988. And we have a few guest stars. And the first couple that I'm going to mention are, of course, I sometimes gripe about reusing actors in multiple roles, but this is going to be a kind of a theme for this episode. The very first guest star that we have is Marta DuBois, who plays Carol Weston. Now, she will return in a few years. There will be a 2-part episode of Matlock in 1992 called The Assassination, and she will play the role of Ava Brodsky. But to give you a few other of her credits, she was probably most known as Michelle Hugh on Magnum P.I., Princess Koji on The Tales of the Gold Monkey, and several different roles on Silk Stockings. And I wrote that down because, Jason, have you ever watched Silk Stockings on USA?
I have not watched Silk Stockings. I don't know if you could say that 6 times fast. But I have not. I don't know what it's about, John. Enlighten me.
It's a little bit like a detective show. I never watched it either, but man, they used to advertise the hell out of it on Monday nights during wrestling. Because I think it was on at 11 after WWE Raw. And they used to plug the heck out of it. And it always they had a very salacious commercial for it, but I never, ever checked it out, ever. Let's talk about our next guest star, who's kind of much like Miss DuBois. Barbara Winnery, I believe is how it's pronounced. She will play the role of Anna Moore. Now, she will return in several Matlock episodes in 1989, 1990, and 1992, playing a variety of different characters. Moving on to our third guest star is Jerry Hauser. He plays the role of Craig Moore.
If you're wondering where you've seen Jerry Hauser before, he was also Wally on The Brady Brides and The Bradys as the husband of Marcia.
I wrote that down. I knew you'd jump on that. I know you love the Brady Bunch. You were going to jump on that. I, on the other hand, appreciate some of his other credits, such as he was Killer Carlson in the movie Slapshot. Great hockey movie, one of the greats of all time. He also, though, has done a lot of voice work. In fact, he has been the voice of Sci-Fi, the laser trooper in G.I. Joe, on several G.I. Joe animated projects. He also ended up becoming the ADR director for the hockey movie Miracle. And from what I gather, Jerry's a huge hockey fan, so kudos to him for his work on all those various different projects that are right up my alley. G.I. Joe, hockey, etc.
Yeah, 100%. I like this guy a lot, actually, and I didn't realize how involved in animation he was.
Same here.
Yeah, he was in Pro Stars. Who was he the voice of in Pro Stars? Pro Stars was the animated show starring Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky.
What voice did he do for that?
He just says random voices. He did Bo Jackson's voice. No, not really.
And our final guest star, the one that is probably most known to many, many folks who enjoyed television in the 80s, Jean Bruce Scott, plays Sylvia Richland. And actually, she was in a previous episode. She was in the Best Friend, where they had the, if you remember from season 1, where we had the tell-all book that was going to be written about the senator, and that was the central plot. So she's coming back as Sylvia Richland, who is a television reporter. But you very well may know her as Lieutenant Commander Maggie Poole on the original Magnum P.I., Roberta Sloan on St. Elsewhere, and she is Caitlin O'Shaughnessy on Airwolf.
Nice. You know, Matlock and St. Elsewhere had to have shared a producer because it seems like everybody we talk about in Matlock's IMDb has been on St. Elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. And man, oh man, I was very ecstatic to see that Caitlin O'Shaughnessy from Airwolf, which was a great show that I enjoyed as a kid. As a matter of fact, I would get into arguments with friends as to which was the better helicopter, Blue Thunder or Airwolf. I'll tell you who had the better theme song, Airwolf. Dun 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 dun. Man, I wish I just felt more comfortable that we wouldn't get a cease and desist order. I just play the music, but we don't have Ben Matlock as our lawyer to get us off.
We do not. And 80s theme songs seem to be a major contention to getting some of these shows out on the air because nobody knows who owns the rights to a lot of this stuff.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely. So, all right. Jason, are you ready to get an opinion? Your opinion and only your opinion, so help you?
I do. I can't wait to talk about this episode.
Then it's time to testify. All right, the plot of The Lovelorn is an advice columnist is found dead, and the man that she gave marital advice to is accused of the murder. Our opening scenes is probably one of the best opening scenes I think we've ever seen. I really loved how it was a woman who turned out later we find out is actually Marjorie Manners, one of the characters, but it's a woman that's typing up something and the camera cuts to she's typing up the credits, which I thought was fantastic, Jason.
Yeah, that was very creative. Do you ever, like me, when you're starting these episodes, try to figure out this person's going to be the one who gets killed, and this person is going to be the one who did it, and this person is sleeping with this person, even though I was wrong. But I still thought, I texted John, I'm like, the copy boy sleeping with the writer. It's obvious. It was not obvious. It was not at all mentioned in this episode.
All right. Well, we go to the very first scene where Sylvia Richland is doing an interview, and she's setting it up. She's outside the house of Marjorie Manners, and I I mean, I don't know much about television production, but I don't think walking backwards while you're doing the opening shot is probably the best way to go. I mean, I felt like you're going to get a heel stuck in a crack on the sidewalk and down you go. But we're introduced to all of Marjorie's family and staff during this interview. I really enjoyed the wipe transition when they went from the one scene that set up here's all the family to where we're finally introduced to Marjorie. I really liked that. That was pretty slick too.
I agree. I really like how they did this whole opening sequence from the beginning to where the first commercial break would hit.
Okay. Yeah, agreed. If Sesame Street was sponsoring this episode of Matlock, it would be represented by the color red, because my oh my, is Marjorie wearing red from head to toe.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's
coordinated, and I don't know what the hell was going on with that blouse, but that blouse was something. I don't know. There was a lot. It reminded me of like the pirate shirt from Seinfeld. That's what it reminded me of.
I was trying to figure out what it reminded me of. Now I know. I don't want to be a pirate.
It's what it reminded me of. I mean, again, 80s fashions. We love to rag on them here on Mattalk. Okay, Harold the copy boy, by the way, looks like he's 13 years old and also seems to be a little bit creepy. So when you texted me that he was having an affair with Marjorie, I immediately was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. This kid is weird. But Craig Moore busts in and he blames Marjorie for a failed marriage. I like that Sylvia quickly keeps things rolling with the camera and the microphone. Got to get that hot scoop, man. Craig's going to hit somebody with the Golden Peach Award, and I just wrote, of course it's called the Golden Peach Award. Of course it is.
It's Georgia. They love their peaches.
They do. I mean, they name every street Peach something, so... Anywho, Marjorie wants to talk one-on-one with Craig, all right? And everyone's like, no, this dude's a psychopath. But she's like, no, I got it. But man, oh man, does she do a 180 as soon as they're in that office all by themselves. She is really, really huffy with him. Craig wants a retraction. She refuses to do it. Eventually, they agree that Marjorie will rewrite a column and kind of maybe redact some of the information that she shared with Craig's wife, Anna. And they're going to do this later in the night together. So, all right, Jason, this is my question. Why would you write something with Craig? Because Craig, does he have any actual credentials in writing anything? You know what I mean? Like, I like, hey, I'll fix your car. You drop your car off at the garage. You're like, yeah, we'll fix it. Hey, just come by and you can watch while we fix it. Like, who, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, some people do that. Like Valvoline, you can watch while you're sitting in your car as they do it. It's like a fast food car service.
Look, I'm just saying, why does Craig need to be there? I know he needs to be there to be the patsy. I know, but it just kind of, to me, is like, why would he need to do that? Can't she just write it up? He stopped by, look at it, and go, yep, okay, it's good. Like, why does he have to be there? I don't know. It just seems like weird.
Maybe he was irresistible to her.
Well, funny you mentioned that. Let's fast forward a little bit in this episode. We meet Anna. Anna is the wife of Craig, and she drops that no woman can resist her husband, Craig. Cue Robert Palmer, simply irresistible.
That's right. Jerry Hauser always seemed to be the irresistible guy in things.
Yeah, because when I think of strong, handsome, sexy G.I. Joe characters, I think sci-fi. Anyways.
Hey, man, he was married to Marcia for a while.
Oh, well, there you go. That's what it is. So he has the mojo that no woman can resist. So lock up your daughters. Lock up your wives.
Jerry Hauser's in the house tonight.
That's right. All right. Well, anyways, Marjorie retires to her office, which is by the pool. It's in the bungalow. Jason, I don't know about you, but I'm jealous. I want my own podcasting bungalow, don't you?
Yeah, I just want a bungalow. It doesn't matter what has to go in there. I just want to be the guy that can say I have a bungalow.
I would love to have one. Like I could leave the house and walk to the backyard and go in the little shed and podcast away and not be bothered by anything.
It's true, but I mean, you don't have a lot of people that live in your house.
True, it's just me. So
it's like you have your own bungalow.
Touche.
I had John's bungalow.
Until you had to pay the property taxes on it.
That's true. I don't want John's bungalow.
All right, anyways, Harold the copy boy shows up to get the copy. And what do you know? He runs into Craig, who is running away from the scene of the crime. Harold goes in and he finds the body and automatically, oh my God, Craig killed her. And so we cut to a scene where Ben walks into the office and Cassie, she's crying. She's crying because her boyfriend supposedly dumped her. I like how she runs down the list. So what that he's like Tom Cruise with curly hair? So what that he is a financial wizard? I don't know what she said. This was really kind of weirdly placed in this particular episode, and I'll have more strong opinions on Cassie's storyline in a few minutes. But anyways, Cassie won't answer the phone. Jason, what did you think about this whole subplot?
I'm trying to look at it not through 2020 eyes. It's I don't know. A woman doesn't need to be that disheveled over a man not calling her. And
here's my thing. Wait. Here's my thing. Why can't you answer the office phone? It's not your private phone.
Because he might call John.
Well, but
she doesn't want to hear from him. We just established this.
Right, but logically,
you have a job. Like that's what I kept saying. Like, why aren't you doing your job?
Yes,
any other job would fire you.
Exactly. Absolutely. Like if Brad calls, because that's his name, if he calls, you go, hey, I can't talk. You called the office phone line. I have to be at work. Like I just felt like this was really silly and really ridiculous.
It's like every phone ring that goes through, that's a potential $100,000 for Matlock.
Yeah, exactly. That fancy office ain't gonna pay for itself.
Man, this Brad must be something.
Hey, he's like Tom Cruise, only with curly hair.
Jerry Hauser.
He's Jerry Hauser, basically, yes. Anyway.
That's what I was waiting for. I thought that maybe the storyline would circle around to that. That Brad was actually Jerry and that she was one of the people.
She was one of the girls that he picked up at the bar because he's irresistible and he lied to her and like, my name is Brad.
Yeah, I mean that's how a show nowadays would probably wrap up. There'd be like some kind of twist that way, but I in my mind I wanted that to be the conclusion to the Brad story. We find out that it was actually him.
Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead too because we haven't even talked about this character. But what I wanted to see is I wanted to see Michelle fall in love with Gideon.
Oh yeah, we'll get to Gideon.
Yeah, all right, we'll get to Gideon in a few minutes. Anyways, okay, first scene in the courtroom. Michelle and Ben are leaving court, and Anna Moore asks Ben to take the case. She explains that she inherited $20 million and kind of tried to explain the very complicated relationship of her and her husband. Refuses to mention it in front of Michelle. Michelle has to excuse herself. And because, as we find out, Craig is a chick magnet, he can't help it. Okay, I'm going to say this. I kind of liked the character of Anna. I thought she was weird and goofy. And I kind of dug the complexity. Like she thinks, as I'm going to reveal a little bit of the ending, she thinks that her husband's like this macho stud muffin, and he really is not.
He was, though.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was. He said he did it.
But the way in which that scene comes together at the end, I was like, is he just saying that to save face because he knows that Anna has probably blabbed to everybody about him being a stud muffin? So I took it as he was trying to save face, but you think he was like legit admitting to it?
Yeah. Because I don't think the show's that deep. No offense.
Okay.
Like I feel like it's on the surface.
Okay.
And, now, because why would a guy admit to having affairs with multiple women just to please his wife? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, all right. Well, that's what I took it as. Is like, well, not his wife, but also like Michelle and Ben and Cassie, like the peer pressure. like when you're in junior high, you're like, hey man, did you smoke a cigarette out back? No. And there's the one kid that's like, oh yeah, man. Yeah, I smoked like a whole pack back behind the dumpster, the cafeteria. Yeah.
Oh man, you'd be so sick. Anyway, let us know. benmattalk@gmail.com. Not about smoking, about the situation at the end.
Or if you want to email us and talk about smoking too, Jason, you're a former smoker, so
I am a former smoker, and in my dreams, I'm still a current smoker. But in my dreams, I still smoke.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I smoked for 3 days and then hated it and stopped because
smoked for 3 days. You just picked it up and was like,
I tried. No, I tried, and I will just tell you, I have terrible sinuses. Like I have really bad sinuses. Like if the temperature here in Columbus, Ohio, goes 4 degrees one way or the other, I'm miserable. And smoking did not help that. So that's why I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this.
Yeah, so, no, I loved it. I was a menthol guy, and I quit for health reasons and children reasons. But still smoking my dreams. Weird. Okay. I didn't like the smell of smoke either, so I was constantly showering, like more than a human should probably in a day.
Okay. Well, that's all right. That's just something. Well, that's what I was getting at. So I was thinking that it was like false bravado for Craig, but okay, we'll see. Again, you can chime in. You can also find us on Facebook, by the way, at Mattalk Podcast, or on Twitter at Mattalk_podcast. Anna is very worried, by the way, that Michelle will not be able to resist the machismo of her husband, Craig. But we move to a scene where Ben and Michelle are at Marjorie's office, and they possibly just got there as a burglar was going through the office. And then there's a few jokes about Ronald Reagan. I don't know why that was in there, but whatever.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. There and you're down here. I didn't get that.
Yeah, like yeah, it was an oddly placed joke that I think that fell flat. Ben interviews Lee Manners. He interviews Carol and Carter Weston as they arrive, and Ben theorizes that maybe one of them did it and framed Craig. This angers all of them. Like, how dare you, sir? How dare you? And Ben drops some info that the office was broken into. And then we cut to a scene where Gideon states, "You're too pretty to be a thief or a cop." All right. What do you think about old Gideon here?
Oh, Gideon. Oh, that ponytail's stupid. But as far as the character goes, he was fine. Definitely laying it on thick for Michelle.
I wrote down the same thing. What a ponytail.
Like, if you look up "trying too hard" in the dictionary, there is a picture of Gideon, because he is trying way too hard to be Michelle's new man friend.
But I wanted to see it, though. As they continued with the scenes, I'm like, yeah, I want to see this. I want to see Michelle have a date with somebody and, maybe not cry about it like Cassie. But you know what I mean? I wanted to see it because I liked Gideon as the character.
That ponytail, that's a major turnoff for women. They don't want to see that. It's like either grow a ponytail or like a long one, or don't. Like, that little thing is just pathetic.
Look, the only man on the planet that can get away with that little ponytail is Brock Lesnar. That's about it. So Gideon is not Brock Lesnar. So I agree with you.
If you're listening to us and you have a short ponytail, your ponytail looks fantastic. We're not talking. Talking about Gideon specifically. It looks stupid on him.
That's right. You random listener. You look fantastic with it.
Yeah, that's a step away from one of those tails people used to grow in the back of their hair.
Oh, I see. Okay, here I'm gonna cancel us some more with some people. I don't like long hair. I don't personally. I'm always short. In fact, right now it's been about 3 weeks since a haircut, and I could go for another one because I don't like how it's all poofy and everything.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I don't like it when my hair gets poofy either.
I don't want to mention something, but where's your hair get poofy at?
Everywhere. Back.
Your back. Can we address the subject since we're here?
Sure.
Why did you make the decision. I think you've mentioned this before. You made the decision to shave your head, right?
Yeah, I used to have really long hair in high school, and
Okay.
when I got out of high school, it started to thin on the top a little bit, but I still had long. I could still grow hair, and then one day, I think it was out of support for a friend's mom who got cancer. I decided to shave it off, but I cut it all off, and it just never grew back quite right. And as I've gone through relationships and marriages, it's done.
Okay. Well, you look good.
I
You
do.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if at least you don't have like that terrible thing we talked about with Dan Florek last episode, like the weird, was that Ben that we talked about with Dan? Excuse me, is that Dan that we talked about with the wraparound hair?
Oh, the island, I call it, where it looks
The
like the
island,
top of
thank
your
you.
head is an
Yes,
island. Oh
yes,
yeah, that's awful.
yes.
Unless you're listening to us and you have that, then
Yeah, then you're great. You look fabulous. So, all right, let's get back on track here, if you will. I find it weird that all these people live in this giant mansion. It's kind of like a cult. The family, Gideon, the copy boy. I don't know if he lives there or not. I don't know, but it just seems like there's a lot of weird people that are living there.
a lot of people. I mean, it's a big house, so I understand that, and we're gonna get more into detail about this family and the stuff they got going on because
Oh,
I got questions about that. But yeah, no, weird little family dynamic and Gideon dynamic, and copy boy dynamic.
Well, Gideon offers to have Michelle come to his room in the main house so she could keep an eye on the bungalow. And of course, Michelle says yes. But then Gideon is trying really hard to put on the moves. And he mentions that his dissertation is linked to the idea of advice columns. And then he drops this little nugget that Lee is having an affair with Carol, who would be his sister-in-law, if I remember correctly. And so Gideon and Michelle go to the main house, and they catch them in the act. And pretty much Gideon hangs Lee and Carol out to dry right in front of Michelle.
Like these, well, yeah, of course he does. Which we'll get to that why later. But yeah, brother-in-law and sister-in-law getting it on.
Yeah, that's weird. But hey, I don't want to judge. There's a burglar in Marjorie's office, which I was like, wait, this is happening right after you just found out that Lee and Carol are having an affair. And all of a sudden, Gideon catches the burglar, and it turns out to be Carter. Why in all that is holy would you, Gideon, leave Michelle in the same room with a guy that was snooping around in the dark trying to steal stuff from an office, who also, by the way, has a giant flashlight that could be used as a weapon that theoretically you could bash Michelle's skull in with? Why would you leave her? What kind of man are you, Gideon?
Didn't she tell him to leave?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think Carter mentioned it. Maybe, I don't know, but still, why wouldn't you go, oh, no, I'm not leaving you here with this psychopath?
Yeah, at least have the conversation. And then she goes, no, I'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself. Stop being sexist.
He only cares to the length of his ponytail.
Or insert another joke here. I'm not going there. You at home can insert your own inappropriate joke. Anyways, Carter's looking for Marjorie's diary, and he admits he's sleeping with Marjorie, and he doesn't want his wife, Carol, to know. But what do you know? In what is only could be described as like a Christopher Nolan film, like Tenet or like Inception, you're having an affair, but what you don't want her to know is that you're having the affair, but she's having an affair. Mind blown.
Yeah, mother or sister and brother-in-law again, just on the other side of things.
I'm at a loss for words as to what's going on here, but
kind of fascinating during the reveal that he actually gets jealous about the other affair when he's having an affair of his own.
I know. We'll get to that in a few minutes. All right, they have to stop using this exterior shot because it's now making me angry. Because we come back from, I believe, the commercial break, and we're seeing that stupid shot of the ATL with no traffic in the middle of the day. That never happened, ever. Stop using it.
Maybe it's at like 11 a.m.
No, There is traffic 24/7, 365 in the ATL. I'm serious. It's the worst traffic around. And for you listening in ATL, I'm not going to apologize for that statement. Sorry. Don't care. You guys
They
have the
know
worst
it's true.
traffic.
They know.
They do. They do. Absolutely. They know it's true. Cassie still is not going to answer the phone. In fact, in this next scene, the phone rings. Ben answers it. And then they talk about the fact that Cassie actually called Brad and he wants her to go with him on a business trip. And Cassie asked Ben for advice. And his best advice is, well, give him a shot, but get a second room. Which, I mean, let's be honest. There's enough people having sex in this episode. We don't need to have Cassie having sex too. I mean, right?
Yeah,
or am I wrong?
You're right. But yeah, Matlock's advice of 2 separate rooms. That's yeah. I mean, if he doesn't agree to that, then that's all he wants is one thing.
Yeah. Lee is interviewed again by Ben, and he says that Marjorie has screwed up their marriage and screwed up their kids. And this was clearly evident as her career took off. Lee doesn't have an alibi, by the way. And the motive could be that Lee was cut out of Marjorie's will. Then next, Ben interviews Carol. And Carol states that she is the new replacement for Marjorie in her column. And Carol also does not have a very strong alibi. Again, let's go back to like having skills. Does Carol have any skills in the department of writing? Like, has she ever done this before? Like, nothing there has ever been mentioned.
No, we have no idea. I mean, we're going to have to assume so because she got this job, but who knows?
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, let's be honest. She might have slept her way into that position. Sorry to say it, folks. Sorry to say it. But there's a lot of fornicating going on this episode. So who knows? It's in the realm of possibilities.
Thoughts of John Orlando are those of John Orlando and not of those of Mattalk.
All right. I'm sorry for that one. But I'm right. There's a lot of fornicating going on in this episode. That's all I'm saying. And man, oh man, is Ben handing out subpoenas like Halloween candy in these two scenes, isn't he? Here, one for you, one for you. It's like being on Oprah. Here's a subpoena for you. Here's a subpoena for you. Here's a subpoena. Subpoenas for everyone. Yay! All right, our next scene. Ben has Carter, Carol, and Lee in a bungalow, and he's going through their whole Home Alone alibi, if you will. You know, the one where paint cans are tied to the rail and they're dropped off. No, sorry, that's a different Home Alone. My bad. I'm glad you at least chuckled on that one because for a few seconds I'm like, no, that one bombed. We might edit that one out.
Dad jokes for days.
Indeed. Okay, so everyone is confused by their lies because Carol says she was in a meeting, that she's going to have a new book coming out, but she has to do it anonymously. Lee says that he picked up Carol. He admits to the affair. That almost causes a fight between Carter and Lee. But then Lee mentions that he's in a meeting trying to get Carter a new job so he could ship him to Detroit, I think they mentioned. And so he can have Carol all to himself. Carter then was at a bar. He admits that he's having an affair with Marjorie. There's another possible fight. Oh my gosh. A lot of twists and turns with this. I mean, this family tree, if you tried to map it out, it would be crazy. And then all of a sudden we have the most awkward entrance of any episode of Matlock, where Gideon comes down from upstairs, says, hey, excuse me, I'd like to have a cup of tea. Like, if you were walking down the stairs, all right, in your home, and you heard some people arguing or discussing like a murder, would you continue to come on down, or would you say, yeah, I can wait on that tea. I'll wait half hour. I guess we never did say that Gideon was a rocket scientist, so.
No, Gideon seems like a one screw loose.
One screw loose. All right. Well, but he's handsome. You got to give him that.
That's true. But he's like, yeah, Michelle, good luck with this. I'm going to go upstairs.
And then I forget who says it, if it was Carter or Lee, Gideon as somebody he is outed as somebody that is having an affair with Marjorie. We go to the scene where Michelle and Ben are in the office in the bungalow, and man, is Michelle rocking some shoulder pads. And they theorize that Gideon could be guilty because the timeline of the death and the discovery of the body and the copy that she had to type up doesn't match up. What do you know? Tipped off that a typewriter might be a clue to solving this murder. We've talked about this before. Did you have a typewriter growing up?
Yeah, but it was more for play than it was for actual usage.
Really?
Yeah, because we had an Apple IIc that we got at a garage sale that I would do most typing on.
Oh, yeah. I remember you mentioning that in a previous episode. Okay. And I had the word processor, which was like half typewriter, half computer, so I don't know about this whole thing about ribbons. I don't remember. I don't remember ever experiencing anything with a typewriter except for in like middle school. And I don't think we ever did anything with the ribbons. And with my word processor, it was a cartridge you just dropped in and pulled out and whatnot. So
now, as soon as they mentioned the typewriter, I'm like, they've got something on one of the ribbons.
yeah, absolutely. So we go back to the courtroom where Ben is interviewing Gideon on the stand. And Ben points out that the validity of his dissertation would be nullified if it was discovered he was having an affair with somebody that he was working with or using as a source. So Ben comes up with a theory that Gideon killed Marjorie based on this. The column that was supposed to be written by Marjorie and Craig was indeed written earlier in the night by Gideon. And then he placed that column in the typewriter after he killed Marjorie. All right. And so, in an attempt to prove this theory, Gideon is asked to remove the ribbon from the typewriter, which he does. And the ribbon has the indentation of a lot of things, including the very last column, I'll call it the Craig rewrite on the ribbon. And that seals the fate of Gideon Harris. What do you think about this final scene?
It was fine. It made sense. And necessarily why he killed her. I mean, that's kind of. That's pretty. To go from 0 to 60, like that's. But
Okay.
It wrapped up nicely, and this episode went by fast.
I agree. It did. Seemed to go. The pacing was big time on this.
Yeah, we'll get into that in the final thoughts. But no, I thought the wrap up on this was fine.
Well, yeah, because Cassie took Ben's advice, and when she called Brad had already booked her room. And then we have a very awkward scene at the end where Cassie answers the phone, and that roll credits. And I'm like, that was a really weird way to end this episode. But Jason, you have any other notes or any other things that you want to discuss real quick with this episode?
No, not till we get to our final statements.
All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to our closing statements. This is the part of the podcast where Jason and I will rate this episode. We will rate it based on a gavel system. 5 gavels for an absolutely awesome episode, 1 gavel for a subpar episode. Not only will we give our rating, but we'll also justify why we give it this rating. Jason, do you want to go first?
I will go first. I like this episode, and I'm not happy with myself for the fact that I'm not missing Tyler Hudson in this episode, and haven't really missed him a lot in his absence this season. And usually in these cases, it's because somebody's being written out of the show. But I mean, we have Keen for 2 more seasons post this season, so I can't wait to see him work back in. But so far, the Michelle and Matlock chemistry is just so strong that you don't really miss that voice in the episodes. And I think season 2 just continues to be way stronger than season 1. And I thought this episode was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it.
How many gavels do you give it?
How many gavels do I give it? I give it 4 out of 5. Only
All
because
right.
the Cassie storyline didn't really need to be there. But
did you look at my notes?
I did not look at your notes, John.
Because that's exactly what I was going to say. I also give it 4 out of 5 gavels. I said the negatives were that the subplot with Cassie was stupid. They should have just gotten rid of it. I don't even know why that was there. I also put down that there was no Tyler. That, unfortunately, for me, lowers it a little bit. I really like the cinematography and the editing. That opening scene, and I know people are probably like, John, really calm down. But that opening scene with the opening credits being typed out, I thought was so super slick and so different and so good. I liked it. I really liked the character of Gideon Harris. I thought that he was really charming at the beginning and then a complete sleazeball by the end. So I like that. And I got to be honest, Jason, even though it's weird and it kind of was all over the place in terms of relationships and sleeping around and everything. I liked the plot. I liked that there was like a little bit of like sleaziness to it. So I dug it. I agree with you. 4 gavels.
Nice.
All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a few of our podcasting projects that we have going on besides this wonderful Mattalk podcast. So, Jason, what's happening with the 3 Geeks?
3geeks.ninja. Check us out. We do a weekly show where we discuss the pop culture topics of the week and interview some fun, exciting people. And I can't wait. We're interviewing Burt Ward again here very soon, so I'm looking forward to talking to him about more things.
So let's just not bury the lead. You've already talked to Burt Ward a few months ago, correct?
Yeah, about 6 months ago, and he was a lot of fun, and we didn't get everything we wanted to get in. And the publicist asked us if we wanted to talk to him again, and I jumped on it because there's a lot to talk to Burt Ward about.
All right. Where can folks find 3 Geeks podcast?
3geeks.ninja, anywhere you find audio podcast, email us at 3geekspodcast, follow us at 3geekspodcast, and follow me at 3geeksj.
And my personal podcasting project is the PVD Cast. It's available at pvdcast.com or also through all those major podcasting outlets and apps and whatnot. The current episode that is up right now, I am talking to Eric Watkins, who is a comic book creator out of Southern Ohio. He has a new project that's really kind of cool because it merges my 2 loves of comic books and pro wrestling together as he's writing a book called The Adventures of Al Snow and Head featuring Chavo Guerrero Jr. He's got a Kickstarter going on, so support it if you can, and check out that episode of the PVD Cast, or quite frankly, any episode of the PVD Cast. All right, let's let people know where they can get in touch with us if they have questions about Mattalk or whatnot.
Email me your stories, your letters, any advice that you want. You can email me at benmattalk@gmail.com. I am not a professional, but if you want my advice, I will happily give it to you.
Well, let's be honest. Steve Harvey is not really a judge, but he's judging stuff. So
you watched that?
I've seen a clip or 2 of it. I'm not watching a full episode of it because
I love it. I love it because I love Steve Harvey as the host of Family Feud, and I love it when he goes on his tangents while he's on Family Feud. And this is just an hour of his tangents, so it's fine.
You can also reach out to us on our social media platforms at MattTalk_podcast on Twitter and at MattTalk Podcast on Facebook. And ladies and gentlemen, real quickly, just want to let you know, I know that we have kind of been a little bit off our schedule, if you will, due to some personal stuff going on. You know, I've had a couple of weekends that were very, very busy. Same with you, Jason. And I know that many of you are probably saying, hey, the Facebook posts, the Twitter posts are kind of all over the place. They're very sporadic. In all complete honesty, that's our fault. We're going to get back onto it and, get back to the what you expect out of Jason and I and Mattalk, right?
Yeah, I got to do the same thing for 3 Geeks. Yes, 100%. We're going to get back on it. And my advice column coming soon is John's Judge Show, Judge Orlando. You can catch that out very soon on YouTube with the 3 Geeks podcast. And I can't wait to see John's verdicts. And that's all for me, everybody. You guys have a great day. John, anything further?
And as they say in court, nothing further. The following has been a joint production between the 3 Geeks podcast and John Orlando Enterprises, LLC, copyright 2022.